Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul here, Left Coast Model Car Builds. Gonna kick off this basic builder we've been talking about. I want to give a couple shout outs to Mark at Hobbynut Models and Jameston over at Scale Finishes. Appreciate the support for the channel, guys. So what I'm gonna do is give a brief run through, being this is a basic build. Figure we give a quick run through of some materials, tools, things that we keep on hand that'll help you with your build if you're new to modeling or just getting into it. If you're a veteran or senior person in the hobby, you probably got your stuff all situated. That's awesome. So first thing, the kit we're gonna roll with is gonna be the Revell 37 Ford pickup. I was gonna do the AMT 40 Willys, but after that 48-hour build, Bell was working on this, and just good kit, goes together pretty well. So I thought that'd be a good one, and it's pretty readily available. Mark's got them there, hobbynutmodels.com. I'll have a link down in the description. You can always hit that. Order up the model along with some of these supplies that we're going to run through real quick. Not going to run through everything. Model building, there's ton, it's never ending. It's like a journeyman and, you know, a trade. There's always that other tool, whether it's something you might use once a year, a couple times a year, or every day. There's always going to be something to add to the toolbox, the bench. So I'm just going to run through a few of the basics that we'll be using, and hopefully you've got. If not, jump online and order that. We will start with some glues. So a lot of glues out there, a lot of options. What I've been using for the most part is Tamiya, the liquid cements, Bob Smith Industries. We use the medium gap filling glues. Same Bob Smith Industries, 2-part epoxy. This is kind of like Old Faithful for me. It takes a little longer. Mixing, dry time still only a few minutes, but it works really well. Mod Podge, I really don't use this a ton. I mean, glass, it works out. Micro crystal clear glue. You know, this stuff, I've used it for some parts, but a lot of times I'll use it over the gauges. Once everything's set, you put it in, it'll dry clear, looks like glass. Hobby knives. This is one of those tools. Don't be afraid. This is just a few of what I've got with different blades. Ideally, you know, you're gonna have just your good old X-Acto straight blade will get you by, but some of these have the serrated little saw blades for different stuff. So again, can't really go wrong with having a few of those with different blades. Panel scribers, I've got different ones. Probably the oldest one I've got that I still use is a bare metal foil trimmer. Tamiya makes some different ones. This other one, I'm not sure who made it. It works good, but you can only use it so long. It has it's just a hair thicker. Let's see. I don't know if you can. It's just a little thicker than that bare metal foil one, and it works good, but what'll happen is it will definitely widen out your lines and start creating other issues. So we got glues, scribers, you know, different grits of sandpaper are always handy. We keep little files on hand, and then we'll pick up different sizes or cut them down for those kind of hard areas. When you're working with something, you don't have as much area. Brushes, this is a little assortment of what we've got. Paints, spray paints, Tamiya is what I've had the best luck with. I'll use some of the automotive stuff, Duplicolor, some SEM, but to keep it simple for what we're doing, TS29, TS14, there's a matte black as well. We've got some surface primer. I've got, I don't have them here on the bench, but there was a color I picked up 2 cans of that we'll use this again. Sticking to the basic build, I'm used to using airbrush. Well, I'm getting used to using airbrushes to use my touch-up gun. But for this basic build, really trying to take the time, kind of walk you through how I clean the models up, clean the parts, get a good base, get a good foundation down. And we're going to do this really with readily available equipment, I guess we could say. A lot of people don't have access to touch-up guns, full-size spray guns, airbrushes a lot of folks have. But like I said, this is going to be kind of back to the basics. So we're working with what you can go to your hobby shop, jump online, pick it up from Mark, and you could build your kit. So got some different colors, got some clear. So it'll be interesting. It's been a long time since I've shot a rattle can paint job, so it'll be fun for me as well. So that's kind of a walkthrough on some of the basic stuff, and what I'm going to do in the description, I'm going to put some links to some of these pieces or equipment that I'll be using, where you could jump over and pick it up at Hobbynut Models. So I'll have that in the description. What we're going to do to begin with is actually not tap into the kit and just start building. So what I like to do, and this kind of goes right back to not just the basics, but I'll still, I guess it's just had it. Kind of like you see people do the unboxings. I like to go through, make sure all the parts are there, nothing's damaged. Take a look at the instructions. It never hurts, no matter how experienced you are. What you do never hurts to take a look at the instructions. You know, some models are very basic, where suspension pieces, engine heads, things will, you just cut it, glue it. Other ones, it's right side, left side. What we'll do is, there we go. So got our instruction sheet, some decals, which we're not even going to mess with right now. Take a few minutes, read through your instructions. And now, this rings a bell. When I was working with Belle during our 48-hour builds, because I'm working on my model, she's working on hers. What I had her do, there's version A and version B, being they give you 2 options with this. Once she knew she wanted to build the custom version, that's A. So what I had her do was go through the instruction booklet, and anywhere where there was A and B and the parts were different, she would circle the A to try not, otherwise it's super easy to get mixed up, and next thing you know, you've glued a wrong part in halfway through, and now you've got to tear something apart. So that's something I will be doing, is going through the instruction sheet, figuring out, probably do the custom version. I like that one. It builds out really neat. The other thing is, ran over to one of our dollar stores, picked up a white bin, wouldn't call it a bucket, but a bin, some Dawn soap. I'm not going to tear all these parts off of the tree, but I'm going to open all our parts of the white stuff. And the first thing I'm going to do is put it in the bucket of warm water with some Dawn soap. Take a soft bristled toothbrush, give the parts a scrub, rinse them off, let them sit there for a little bit. Actually, I'll probably let them sit in there for a little while. I used to not do this with plastic. I used to only do this with, when I was working on a resin kit, we'd use Wesley's white wall cleaner, and we would scrub them and let them sit in there to really clean the resin up before you start working with it. Now with some of these plastics, I'm finding I have more problems than I used to with stuff sticking. I've taped things off, pulled the tape, and it's pulled the paint, primer, everything down to the plastic. So now it's kind of cross your fingers and do everything you can to get these to stick. So what we'll do is I'm gonna work on putting up some links or parts list in the description box of some of these basic parts I'll be using on this, along with the kit. I'm going to go through the instruction booklet, go through, just circle the areas I need to be watching for, working, make sure I don't mix any parts up. I'm going to soak these parts, scrub them, rinse them, let them dry, and then we'll jump back onto the bench and I'll start showing you guys how I kind of walk through the models. I don't go 100% in step order in the instructions. It's not to complicate things. I normally like to clean up the body, clean the mold lines up, do some scribing, get it in primer. Anything that's going to be painted, in this case probably the dashboard, any parts that are going to be painted, the body color, we'll get those kind of prepped, primered, let them sit, and then jump over to step one, which probably be the engine, and start working on that. So I'm going to go ahead and do some of that. I think we'll get this video up, and then as we start building, kind of do it in segments. I thought about just doing the video, pausing, stopping it, coming back, and basically giving one video up on the whole build. And we might do that later, but I think for this one, I'm going to kind of do it in steps. And if anybody wants to follow along, gives you a chance to pick up the kit, order any parts you need. And that way you can kind of ask any questions you have in the comment box, or my email's in the description as well. So that'll be our plan of attack. Gonna rinse the parts, get them cleaned up, let them sit, go through the instruction booklet, just take a look at everything, highlight the areas we're going to be working in, and get started from there. So I'll probably let the stuff sit overnight and jump back in tomorrow morning and see where we go from there, guys. So hope everybody's having a good week. Happy Friday. I'm excited to be getting this back to the basics build going. Been talking about it, looking forward to it. So here we go, guys. Have a good night. We'll catch you later.